You'll be my forever friend. This love will never end. No, no, nothing can come between us. No, never with you.
I literally did a whole article on my Forever Friends Academy site about it, because I think, as far as me just telling you my experience of growing and becoming mature, as the gentleman stated, it only gets better. That it depends on the maturity level, and I definitely, marriage will mature you. Oh my gosh. I think more than anything in life, it has matured me, and one of the things that I learned was to have a healthy comparison, in meaning honoring and seeing the distinction of the difference between my husband and I, right? And not just clearly, right, just the obvious physical difference, but how he functions differently, like how him as a husband needs to function differently than me as a wife in the relationship. And I think we've come to a very modern society that has tried to strip those things away, in the same way that I say they kind of take you take comparison and you put it in a great umbrella and a hub, like, oh, it's going to cause havoc and chaos or make you feel depressed and things like that. No, it depends on what lens you're putting on. If you're on a team, I played a lot of sports in high school. If you're on a basketball team, you need to know the position that the forward plays. You need to know the position that the point guard plays. You need to know what the position that the center plays, because if you don't compare the difference between your functionality, then you're going to try to step in and do what the forward does or do what the point guard does, and that's going to cause the chaos, because a team knows that they're a team, but they need to function as one. And the best way that that team can function as one is that they know that they're interdependent parts working together, but each part doubles down on their positioning and their role of what they play. And they do it so well in harmony that they can then, right, become champions. And I think it's the same way in a relationship, but in our modern day culture, they look at that like it's making women go back to the 1960s or something like that, when it actually, what's being put out today is causing more disharmony in relationships, and is not affording or really beneficial to women who really want relationships that, or committed relationships that do last a lifetime. So that's one of the first greatest lessons that I had to learn, to be able to stand in my position, and be anchored in my position as a wife. I think knowing that there are differences between people is a great thing. I'm working on a third book called Just Right and In Position. And one of the first points that came to me in that book was that God doesn't make duplicates. He makes everything just right and places it in position to perform based on how he's created it. So once you understand that, just right doesn't mean you're perfect. Perfection's impossible. But you've been in a place where you had that just right meal. It's like you thought of it, and that was like, yes, hit all the palate, right, the way that it needs to. Maybe we can call them deja vu moments, where everything just seems to align. It's just right, right? So we have, that about ourselves, but at the same time, while you've been created just right by God, and that you should delight in it and enjoying and discovering yourself, there are billions of people on this earth, and not every one of them you're just right for, right? And that the other aspect of you knowing who you are is also, testing, dipping your foot in the waters and finding your tribe, your people who are, and being okay when you stumble upon someone who says, no, I don't really like what you said. It doesn't really rest well with me. That doesn't resonate. The song that you did, I don't like it. It's okay, right? My husband likes coffee. I don't drink coffee, right? I like smoothies. So, right, everyone has their right to choice and right to say that this thing that you've given to me was absolutely exactly what I needed for right now, this moment. And when you kind of understand that, then it's okay to glean and to learn from the differences, and allow those differences to make a greater whole, because that's what a relationship's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be this sameness. The whole point of two people coming together is because it's unequal parts coming together to create a greater whole of unity, a greater progress, because I don't know everything you know. Your skill sets are not the same as my skill sets. Of course, you must have the same vision. That can't be altered, right? It's God created all those things just right, putting it in position where it needed to be: the sun, the moon, the stars, us, right? All for this great unanimous vision that we all are functioning in within, right? So that's what the relationship is supposed to be. So I agree, competition is definitely killing relationships.